bombarded our military installations. You blocked me on Twitter. Can you please unblock me or educate me why I'm wrong?
Well, perhaps I would have to go back and look at the contest, as maybe it looked like you were coming back at me, for something like that. I obviously look at the exact interaction, but it is truthful that YPG, this was an organization, a Kurdish militant organization, that did have U.S. support at one point, were also, on the other side, turning around and financing, funding, and training Antifa, who had come over from Western Germany and North America to participate in their operations. And one of them, this guy Daniel Allen Turner, was just arrested in Florida for planning an attack on the Florida Capitol on Inauguration Day 2021. He states that, we still need to investigate this. He states that he was part of the militant the armed guards up at Chaz in Seattle during the summer of 2020, and from his own Twitter feed says that he was involved in one of the shootings that took place in Chaz.
Wow.
So this is a guy that, again, going off of all of his own statements, says that he was in YPG, that he was in Syria, that he came back, that he used what he learned on the battlefield in Chaz, then finally got picked up by the FBI planning an attack on the Florida Capitol.
Here's something interesting. Pims the Great says 2-man crew-manned machine guns come in 5.56, 7.62, and 3.38. There you go. 3.38, or do you mean 3.08? No, 3.08 and 7.62 are basically the same thing. I guess, some guy was telling me never to put a 3.08 and a 7.62 because the pressure is different. But a lot of people were just like, it's the same thing. I don't care.
Yes and no.
Oh, inclusive. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, Full Mental Alchemist says, Tim, Saitama is a great character, but Moomin Rider is the best one on One Punch Man. Moomin has no powers at all, but still does everything he can to be a hero, regardless of fame. Batman versus Superman. That is correct. Moomin Rider is one of the best heroes. Probably, I'd say Saitama is my favorite character. But you know what? I think Moomin Rider. Are you guys familiar with One Punch Man?
No, not even a little bit.
All right. Very, very simple gist of it. One Punch Man is basically an all-powerful guy. Like the theme of the anime is that he's this he's just like this silly-looking guy, but he can defeat anybody. No one can stop him. He can jump to the moon. He's just all-powerful, and he's kind of dumb. But he's a good guy, and he wants to be this great hero, but they kind of treat him poorly. Moomin Rider is a Class C hero who's just a guy who rides a bike around and wants to be a hero. But the point is, he gets into a fight with this really big monster and is being beaten mercilessly, but he refuses to stop because he's trying to defend other people, stop them from getting killed. So even though he knows he's going to die, he doesn't. Whereas Saitama just walks up to the guy. He's got no fear. Superman versus Batman. It's a good fight.
No, that's great, man.
Of course.
That's good.
Goldilocks Production says Star Wars was about watching out for corruption and fascism and government manipulation. And when Disney got a hold of it, they tried to feminize and corrupt it to their narrative. Eddie Johnson asks, what does Jack think of Snowden?
Snowden's someone that I would have to say that I've had a journey on Assange too, really, that, I'm a guy who, people say, are you part of the deep state pursuing? It's like, well,
of course, sure.
Maybe. I was on the side that was doing the drone strikes, right, to what Luke was saying. And now I'm here. And so I do think that if you break the law, that there are going to be consequences. So I understand that, from the leaking perspective. But at the same time, the amount of stuff that guy was able to expose and the transparency that he provided to people has proven to be a public service, 100%.
Yeah. Razio says, question to any Trekkie on the set. Me and my bro discussed this topic last night and was wondering who you guys would pick. If you were to start your own crew, who would be your go-to analytical science officer, Data or 7 of 9, and why? Data, obviously. Guys,
yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you want to?
Elon Musk.
Well, are you guys familiar with 7 of 9?
Oh, the 3 Data.
Data or 7 of 9 is one person.
The girl with
she's the former.
Yeah.
Former. Data hands down.
Who's the other one? Spock.
No, Data or 7 of 9.
I'm still confused.
So here's the most important thing. If you guys have seen the episode where in The Next Generation they get trapped in the Tychon's Rift. You guys
that was fun.
Yeah, of course you know this. Yeah. And there is on the other side of the rift, because the crew is trapped. They're being bombarded, and they don't realize this, with telepathic rays preventing REM sleep. Right. So over time, they're slowly going insane. And as they go to sleep, but they don't actually get dreams and REM cycles. They start breaking down. But Data is unaffected. So, because of Data, they end up surviving for the most part. And because of Troy, who is partially telepathic and could translate inner dreams message, they released the hydrogen, which interacted with the fictitious Star Trek element of calendenium, which caused the explosion, wiping out the rift, which they then ripped through. I know a lot about Star Trek.
So,
Yeah,
you chose an artificial intelligence.
Data.
Yes, I think there's something.
Well, because he's a safety net, you know.
Creating AI. Yeah, AI can
It's
be a
fragile.
safety net. It just needs to be free software so we can watch it write its own code.
Yeah, it was cool though. I like at the end when like everyone's basically on the verge of dying because they're losing their minds. Data's totally fine, and then he orders the captain to bed. He's like, my last order as acting captain is to order you to bed, sir. And Picard's like, oh, thank you, Data, and then he goes to bed.
25th Amendment.
Yeah. 25th Amendment.
You know they really brought that up because of Kamala, right?
Which one?
Sure, yeah.
Like it. The reason that everybody isn't talking about the 20, this is so obvious, by the way.
Right.
The reason that they've been seeding this narrative that even in the last weeks of the Trump administration, when they were talking about the 20th Amendment, right? The 20th Amendment, the 20th Amendment is not about if you don't like somebody, you want to get rid of. That's impeachment, right? And
Right.
he is being impeached right now. The 25th Amendment is about mental capacity, mental capability, and the idea is supposed to be that you know, if you have some medical condition and you're not deceased, you're still alive, but you can't function, right? Then
Like if we had a president who thought the movies, what was that movie with the War Games?
Reagan.
Yeah, if like we had a president who thought War Games was a real thing.
Right.
Wasn't that
well,
Reagan?
a lot of these laws were written in after the Kennedy assassination, right? Because they were thinking of different permutations of what could happen. That's why we have so many lines out of the line of succession, so many degrees of this, and then this was also brought up as something of, well, what if he was just incapacitated, right? And so, but I think that the reason that they're talking about it is because they want to give one good guidance.
Agreed.
Yeah, oh, of course,
Yep.
of course.
Yep.
Troy Dunham says, I've graduated from an Ian hater to an Ian fanboy. Ian, when did you get red pill?
2004, I think.
Been a while.
It was about like loose change. I think you actually worked on it, didn't you?
Yeah.
2000.
So-
Back
We have some
zeitgeist, that whole era of like internet video, red pilling in the early days.
Gareth Green's giving us a little correction. He says Czechia was formerly known as the Czech Republic.
Yes, thank
and
you.
before that, part of Czechoslovakia. And before that, Bohemia and Moravia, part of the Austrian Empire.
Good places.
So I actually knew somebody who identified as Bohemian because their family immigrated from Bohemia
Right.
to the U.S. And so when I was like asking who they're like, oh yeah, what is your ethnicity? And they're like, well, we're from America, we're from Bohemia. And I was like, oh. And I'm like, where's that? And everyone's like, there's no such place. I'm like, yeah, there was a long time ago, and the people who were there, identified as Bohemian, left and retained that as their heritage.
That was fun.
It's totally different now.
But it's like that in some.
Thanks for watching.
Ukrainians that came woke up in the backyard.